So I'm going to show you how to make this Santa face candy dome, but we're going to bring him up a level. So this one is all just made out of cardstock. And one thing that I did to notice is I combined the eyes and the glasses, because in the file, these are 3 separate pieces. But if you want them all to be black, place the eyes where you want them and then weld those 3 together so they cut as one. It's a little bit simpler, especially if you want to pop it up. So see, I used little pop dots and made that a little bit dimensional. So we're going to do Santa, but we're going to make him a little bit extra. So let's get started. Here is what we're going to use. So you need a 3.15 inch candy dome, which is basically half of a clear fillable ornament. And there's a link below the video to find this on Amazon. You can make 2 out of each ornament. Then you're going to need some candy to put in there, and I'm going to use wrapped peppermints. Now, if you're using unwrapped food, you need to think about what it is, because I used fish crackers, didn't wrap it, and all the grease from the crackers went into the cardstock. The next time I put saran wrap down, that worked great. Gumballs you can put in without any saran wrap barrier, no problem. Now this Santa has lots of layers. We have the back layer that we're going to glue the dome on, and this is how people will access the candy. They're gonna pull this and rip it and get at whatever you put in the dome. Maybe you're gonna put money or a gift certificate and candy in there and use this as a gift. So many ways to use it. If you wanna put a message on here, you're gonna want to write it on the back or even print it on the back before you put this together, because it's just, the paper lies flat now and you're going to have better success. Then the next layer, I'm going to use a glitter paper, whereas with this Santa I used plain white. So this is going to give a very different look. Then this is the next layer, which is going to help hold things together. Now, because I did glitter, you can see that it would make, if we just left it the way I made it before, the face would be glitter, which isn't really what I'm going for. So I just took part of a circle that was cut out of here from another project and trimmed it. So we're going to put that back there so that the face is white. So this piece isn't part of the bundle, but it's really easy just to add that. Then we have 2 parts of the mustache. We're going to do fancy glitter glasses. We have 2 eyes. You have to make sure you keep track of those if you are doing this in 3 parts. And then the nose. Then I'm going to be using a glue gun. Love this cordless one. I'm going to turn that on right now, so we're not tripping on cords. Some tacky glue. You could possibly use adhesive dots. I'm going to use some of these foam pop squares to give it dimension. And then I've also decided to add a bow and a bell. Just dress it up. You can do whatever you want with these. And we're going to put the dome down first. There's lots of different ways to do it. You might see other people do this differently. So this is the way I like to do this. I take my candy and my dome, I put the back on it, and then I flip it. You want to make sure the tip of your ornament is at the widest part of your paper. You don't want to put it down here, because then this part won't glue together well. So you want it up here. But before you glue it, we need to make sure it's in the right spot. And that's where the second piece, layer 2, comes in. And I have all the files layered 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So you know the order to put them down. So we're going to put this over the dome, and then we're going to just line it up with the bottom to make sure our dome is in the right spot. Now I'm going to hold the dome, take this off, don't move the dome. I'm going to grab my glue gun, and I'm just going to glue around the bottom. Now making sure that the glue is touching both the paper and the dome. So this is, kind of like home improvement, caulking in your bathroom or around your windows to seal it. We are basically sealing this plastic dome full of treats onto the paper. And you'll see that holds really nicely. Now we're going to put this aside, and we're going to get our Santa started. The glitter is the base layer. And then this comes, but I'm going to put this one here so we have it for reference. Before we glue this red one down, we're going to want to put the white behind here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the red, I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to attach this white to the back and make sure I can't see any black. So if I can see black, that means I'm going to see glitter through when I do this later. So I'm just going to look at how that went, and I'm just going to do some of this really quick adhesive dots. Okay, so now we have the face white, but the hat pieces and the beard will be fun and glittery. So now I'm going to put a little bit of tacky glue. And you don't want to do too much glue because you don't want the paper to get so wet that it starts to warp. So now when you're putting it down on the glitter layer, you just need to make sure the outer edges are matching up. So I usually focus on this side because it's got the most going on. Make sure the edge of the beard is lined up, the top of the hat, this here. When you put it down, you can usually slide it a teeny bit, but you want to try and put it down correctly, or as close to correctly right away. It takes a little bit more glue than if you're just doing cardstock to cardstock. So it's a delicate balance between not too much glue to make the top warp and enough for it to stick. So often you just have to keep pressing down. If it starts to pop up a little bit, just push down on it. A little bit of pressure goes a long way. Okay, so now that part is done, and now we are going to put the nose and the mustache. So you can see the mustache is going to line up with the red. So the red isn't showing up. It's all behind this mustache, but you want to see the mouth. So the right side of the mustache lines up over here. The rest covers that red. But before you glue that down, you're just going to decide like how prominent you want his nose to be. Do you want him to have a big nose? And then remember that he's going to have glasses too. Right, so I didn't want the nose going over the glasses, so I'm going to put it down quite a bit. And so I just kind of look and judge where the glasses are going to go, where that's going to be, and then I'm going to pick those up together, turn that over, and then I'm just going to put a little line where I want the bottom of the nose on the back, so we won't see that, and then I'm just going to put a little dot of glue right there. And then I'm going to put that nose down and line it up with that line. And then I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to make sure it's centered. Now, before I put that down, I'm going to put this layer. So this makes his mustache fancier. I cut this out of glitter, where this one I did gray and white. This one I'm going to do white and glitter. And you'll notice it's easier to see on this one. There is a border of the bottom layer around the top one. So I'm going to put glue on the back of the glitter layer, and then we're going to put it on top of this. Needs glue, and now I'm going to place this down, just centering it over the white. So there's a border of white all the way around it, and the indent part is lined up right there. I mean, how cute is that? Doot doot. Okay, so now that we have that together, we're going to glue this onto Santa. Now we could glue it flat, or we could give it a little bit of dimension. And since this is the one that we're just going to make extra fancy, let's give him some dimension. So I'm going to use adhesive squares and pop this puppy up. And I'm just going to make sure I get it lined up over here and looking good before I place that down. And then I'm just going to gently press about where the dots are. You don't want to press really hard and fast so you don't bend the rest. So look at how much different that looks already with that mustache having more dimension than how I did here. There's no right way. I'm just showing you a different way. Now we need to do the eyes and the glasses. These are called reverse tweezers. If you've never used them before, they're awesome. When they're closed, they're holding the paper, and then when you squeeze, it lets go. So they're great for placing small pieces like this, and great for holding them when you're putting glue on there. Now remember, on this one, it was easier because I just welded them together since the glasses and the eyes were black, so it was just one piece. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a small dot. So I'm going to center my pen over the center of where I want that eye. I'm going to move that paper, put a little dot. Do the same thing over here. So I'm going to put a small dot of glue on each of those dots from the pen. I'm going to use my tweezers and I'm going to place that eye. I'm not going to really press down until I triple check where it is with the glasses. So let's see if our glasses are there. Do we like where the eyes are? So that's where I want them. Now I'm going to just press down. Now we need his glasses. And because I used pop dots on the mustache, we're going to need to double dot the glasses if we want them to be even further up, kind of like this is up from this mustache. We're going to need to double dot. And then also, if you'll notice, the dot is wider than the glasses. So what I do is I take one and I just take scissors and I cut it in half. Put the wider half down first, because you're basically going to use one dot on each side. Then I'm going to put this half down. Okay, then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Now we're going to decide exactly where those go and just press down. So again, let's compare our cardstock and our much shinier, glittery Santa. Now we just need to glue him on top of here. So you're going to be really gentle when you turn this over because you have dimension and everything. But you're just going to put glue around the edges on the back. And again, not too much. You won't need quite as much on this because you're gluing cardstock to cardstock, not cardstock to glitter. So it will stick easier. Mostly the outside edge that we're worried about. Now, I call this the hover in place method. I try not to put it right down until I know it's pretty much lined up. Because again, you can slide it a little bit, and then I start on the edges farthest away from the candy dome, lining those up and gently moving around and pressing. Do not press too hard on your mustache. You don't want to bend it. And then as you come down, it's, there's a little bit it has to go over. So it is going to buckle up a little bit because it's going over the edge of that dome and hiding that glue. So you're just going to push on the edges. And then I usually pick it up and just work my hands around like that. Look at how amazing that is. All right, so I'm gonna heat up my glue gun again. I'm gonna glue this little bell right there. I was gonna put it here, but it's too much going on there. So I'm gonna put it at the end of his hat. This is totally optional. You can do so many different things. You could put a different pattern, like you could put a plaid pattern in here. You could put kind of furry fabric in there. There's lots of ways to make this more. So there, I'm just going to glue that there. And you can see it's the same Santa, the same cut files with my Cricut or Silhouette, and the same candy, but just a little bit of a different look. This one is going to be a little bit faster to put together. It has less pop dots, less expensive materials. I did the eyes and the glasses together, so I didn't have all that time figuring out where the eyes went. They're both so cute. You could punch a hole in there, hang it on a gift bag, use it as a tag for a big present. So many ways to use these, and they're so much fun to make. So you can find these in my design bundles or Etsy shop.